Hello friends, this is a quick version of Stp Sharegenius Trigger Point with compounding power, the video I made in Hindi already. This is a short version and a quick version in English audio for the people who do not understand Hindi that well and prefer to have my videos in English. So guys, this is for you. So I'll cover the important points so that you can understand the strategy, you can understand the sheet I have prepared for you, and then can start using it. So in today's video, I will be covering what is the STP method with compounding, the Google Sheet I have prepared, and the backtesting results of using this strategy in various ETFs. So let's start with understanding what is the strategy. So we will divide this into three parts. Part A is calculating the SIP amount that we would be using to invest in every investment period. So suppose you have 7,000 rupees which you want to invest in a particular ETF. So this amount can be 7,000, 9,000, 10,000, any damn amount. I'm just giving you an example of 7,000. So what you have to do is divide it by 7. So we are dividing it into equal 7 SIPs. So one installment would be, or one SIP would be of 1,000 rupees. So it need not be as multiple of 7. It can be anything. You just have to divide it into 7 installments. 7 because I think most of the times you achieve it in 7 installments or lesser. Sometimes you may have to wait beyond 7 installments, but 7 is the ideal amount which Mahesh sir gave us. Second part is, how do we calculate the STP price, the price at which we have to invest in that ETF? It's not like we will just randomly invest. We have to find a point which is ideal for investing in that ETF. So we divide the month into two halves, from 1st to 15th, and then from 16th to the end of the month. Then in the first half, we note down what was the highest price of that particular ETF. We note it down. The Google Sheet I've created will automatically provide it to you. And then in the next half, the following half, say you started from 1st to 15th for tracking the highest amount of an ETF, then from 16 to the end of the month, you will have that investment period. So if that amount, the STP amount, crosses in the second half, we will purchase ETF worth 1,000 or whatever your SIP amount is. Okay, and you will just purchase one SIP in one half of the month. And then we will keep repeating this every next half of the month. So whatever is the highest price of the previous half, we will note it down. We will just get it from the Google Sheet. And whenever the ETF crosses that amount, we will buy ETF worth one SIP amount. In this example, 1,000 rupees of SIP. So this is how we are calculating and investing. And we will keep repeating these steps till we have invested all 7 SIPs or till the target is achieved. So whatever comes first, either we have invested all the 7 SIPs, we are now out of money, we don't have any more money for this ETF, we will just wait for the targets to come. But if the target comes before we have invested all the 7 SIPs, we will just book the profit and we will start again fresh. So how do we calculate the profit target percentage, or the amount that we have to target for profit, and what do we do for the new investment amount after we have booked the profit? So we will set the profit target as 20%. Now, if you have watched Mahesh sir's video, he said 25%, but once you watch the entire video, once I show you the back testing results, you will see why I'm recommending 20%, because that's the ideal amount I have seen in my back testing, and that's what I'm going to follow for my strategy. So whatever is the 20% of the part A, the overall investment amount, for example, we had 7,000 for overall investment, but we were investing 1,000 per SIP, but the overall amount is 7,000. So our profit target would be 20% of the 7,000, which is 1,400 rupees. So that means whenever we get 1,400 as profit, we will be selling all the ETF units and we will start fresh. And what do we do after booking profit? We will simply add that profit amount into the overall investment amount we previously had, like in this example, 7,000, and we will add 1,400. That's the profit we booked, and we get the new overall amount as 8,400. And then we divide that by 7 to get our new SIP amount. So this cycle will keep going on from part A to part C till we are investing in that ETF. And usually a stop loss is not required in this strategy, but if anyone wants to keep a stop loss, I would recommend using Mahesh sir's super stop loss method. It's a very good method because though that stop loss does not easily come, and what we track in that stop loss is if the ETF's 55 days high price, if it has gone 25% below that price, that's our stop loss. Okay, so you can use that as a stop loss. But as I said, usually stop losses are not required once you have exhausted all the 7 SIPs. you can have your waiting period on and wait for the targets. And once the target come, you book your profit and start fresh. All right, now I'll talk about the Google Sheet I have prepared. So that sheet would show you the steps which I just talked about in the strategy sheet. Then I have prepared a screener. So whatever ETF or penny stocks you want to use. So this strategy works best in ETFs and penny stocks. If you try it in big stocks like Reliance or Hindustan Lever, Bajaj Finance, it may not give you great results when you do the back testing. Okay, so keep it to penny stocks or ETFs only. So my sheet would have a screener where you can put in your favorite ETF. And if the ETF data is available on Google Finance, you will have the price at which you have to buy that ETF. And then I've prepared a backtesting sheet where you can test any ETF or any stock for any period that you prefer, and then see the results. That sheet will also show you results when you have got a target of 25% or 20% or 15%, or you can customize those 3 targets and check the results. All right, so with that, let's go to the sheet and let me show you how you can use the sheet. So this is the sheet. The name is STP Compounding Fire in India. The first sheet is strategy. This has all the steps that you need to perform. And I've also given a tip at the end. What it says is just think of this as some FD money getting diverted into this strategy. So even if we do not get that 20% target in 2 years, that means we're getting it in 2 years. We are making 10% a year, which is much better than FDs, which is giving like 5% a year, around that figure. All right, that's just a tip psychologically so that you can stay with this strategy. Then I have given you the video links of Mahesh sir, his super stop loss video, and the video I made in Hindi, which is a detailed video of this strategy, and the calculation of the SIP amount. So if you are investing 14,000, what will be your SIP amount? What will be your first target? And if you're investing any other amount, like say 20,000, what will be your SIP amount and what will be your first target? Of course, once you book the profit, the overall amount and the SIP and everything would change as per the Part C calculation. Okay, but this is the initial calculation that you would start with. Then next, you have got the STP Screener. So here you can put the stock code or the ETF code in this format, NSE colon, and then the stock's name or ETF's name. Only this value has to be input by you. The rest of the values are being pulled by Google Finance formulas. So current market price, what was the highest price in the previous slot that just completed, like today is 2nd of December. So the last slot we would be tracking is from 16th to 30th November, what was the highest price? And what is the difference between that highest price and current market price in percentage, so that we can know, okay, how much difference we are looking at. Is it close enough or is it very far? Because based on that, we may expect it to get triggered this in this slot or may not get triggered. You may not want to create GTTs if you have GTT facility in your broking account. You can create GTTs only if you feel like it's less than 8%, because usually stocks or ETFs may not move 8% in a 15 days period. Okay, so this can be used for that purpose. Next, I've got the investment sheet. Here you can input the ETF that you want to invest in, the code of the ETF. So all the yellow columns are where you are entering the data manually. The green columns have formulas and will automatically calculate. So you enter the ETF code. The last GTT price is being pulled from the sheet. You can manually enter it as well. The date when you do your purchases, first date, then the second date in the second line, and so on. And the price at which you purchased that particular SIP. The units will be calculated based on, the amount that you put in investment amount and the target you put in profit target %. Okay, investment amount will get divided by 7. That becomes your SIP amount. As you see, I have 35,000 here. So that becomes 5,000 as per SIP amount. And my target would be 7,000 on my invested amount. Okay, so when you do the first investment, this first row would be used. When you do the second investment, use the second row. And then when you are doing the third one, just copy this and paste it into the third row and keep going on till the 7th one. And then you can track it for the profit booking. Okay, your profit target price would also show up here in the column O under target price. This is like, again, if you have GTT facility in your broking account, you can create a GTT order for that target price. Right. Next is backtesting sheet. This is the sheet which took the highest amount of time because I had to do a lot of calculations, a lot of research to get to the right calculations. So how to use this sheet? The yellow cells is where you feed your data. So this is where you put the stock code or ETF code. Here you can put the start date from where you want to start tracking it, and the end date till where you want to track it. So you can choose any specific period. Okay, right now it's pulling today's date because the today formula is used. Okay, but if you want to manually change it to any other date, you can do that as well. Then you can input target number 1. The results for target number 1 would show up here. Target number 2, like this, target 1 is 25%, target 2 is 20%, target 3 is 15%. You can change these to any target that you want to test it for, and the results for that particular target would show up here because I have created 2 more sheets. Sheet number 2 is for target 2, sheet number 3 is for target 3. Okay, and you would see this target and these dates and ETFs are being pulled from that particular sheet. So whenever you put the data in this sheet, it will automatically fill the data in the rest of the 2 sheets. So you don't have to do anything in the rest of the 2 sheets. The results will automatically populate here for you. Okay. So what happens when you input these data? Starts tracking when was the STP price crossed. And whenever it was crossed, you will see HP triggered and what price we bought it at, how many units, and all those things. What was our investment amount, the SIP amount, how much money are we left with after investing in this particular SIP, and what is our profit target. Okay, so it keeps tracking that. And whenever you have one SIP, for example, let's look at here, you have invested in this lot, and then next lot you invested another SIP, next lot you invested another SIP. Then for some time the price did not come for the next SIP. So it's not like we will invest double the SIP or whatever SIPs we have skipped. We will just invest one SIP at a time, even if we have a time period or time gap of more than one half of the month or 2 months, 1 month, whatever is the time. We just invest amount equal to one SIP at a time, and we keep investing till we have invested all the 7 SIPs. Okay, and in this backtesting sheet, it will stop investing after we have invested 7 SIPs. You'll see no more quantities because we have already invested 7,112. However, our amount was 7,000. Okay, so we have already exhausted that limit. So it will now keep tracking for when was the target achieved, and whenever the target is achieved, it will show us in the column Q under target achieved. So this one took a very long time, as you can see here. All right, keep going. And here the target was achieved. So as soon as the target is achieved, our sheet calculates what will be the new amount that we have to start with. So it's simply adding the previous amount and the profit we have booked, and then calculating the new SIP amount. And then it keeps going on and on and on. So that is how this backtesting sheet is working. At the top, we are able to see the results. So this is the amount we're investing. This is the value at the end of the period. So whatever is the end of the period, like in this example, 2nd December, on 2nd December, our fund value was 27,576. Increase in value. So we just subtract this amount from the initial amount. We get 20,576, which is 293% of our initial amount. So percentage wise, we would know, okay, what is the appreciation in our amount? This is for 25%. Similarly, for 20%, this is the amount. And for 15%, this is the result. So now let's look at the results that I have performed. I have backtested on various popular ETFs. Okay, and make sure you're selecting an ETF which has high volume, because you do not want to get trapped into low volume ETFs and you won't be able to sell, you won't be able to properly buy. So just make sure you have a high volume ETF selected for yourself. And a growth ETF, okay, which has good growth potential in the future. Otherwise, you may see your money stuck for a very long time. Right, so these are some of the ETFs, popular ETFs, and you can see the results. And you would notice that in the 20% section, most of the ETFs have given excellent results in terms of the appreciation in the amount, and also in terms of how many times we were able to book the profit when we compare it to 25% mainly. Okay, so that is why I personally am going to use 20% as my target amount, so that I can rotate my money faster and also make more money, because 25% is kind of holding my money for a longer time. And that's why I'm able to make lesser money in most of the cases. So I want to keep rotating my money. That's why I'll go with 20%. And that is my recommendation for this strategy after seeing these back testing results. All right. So I hope you have got the gist of the strategy, how to use the sheet, how the strategy works, and you can start using the sheet. And I'll try to make these kind of short videos. Let me know in comments if you liked it, or if I should have covered anything more, or I should have kept it simpler. Just let me know in comments, and I'll be happy to take your feedback and apply them in my future videos, which I make especially for my English speaking audience. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.